What is going on, you stallions and stallionettes? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. Today I want to talk about the 5 things that I absolutely love about my new Alienware Aurora R11. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, so starting off the list, it is very quiet. Now it's not dead silent, obviously you do still have some fan noise, but there's only a 120mm intake fan and 120mm exhaust fan. Don't worry, cooling is not an issue. The CPU is water cooled and there's also a massive heat sink on the GPU. During my unboxing I did partially disassemble the case, i.e. pop off the side plate, move the PSU out of the way to give you guys a good look at the guts, the internals. And cooling is not an issue, especially on the current generation R10 and R11. But overall, it is very quiet. Coming from my PC that I built about a year and a half ago, Trooper 7, which had 4 fans, and also they weren't really a very quiet model of fan. This is much quieter, and I have to say that's awesome. So if you're doing any kind of streaming where you're obviously mic'd up, even with a noise gate on, sometimes your audio will be picked up from your PC. And even if you're not a streamer, if you just like to play online games with your buddies and you're commed up through Discord or Xbox Live for PC, a lot of that noise is getting picked up through your microphone, even if you don't realize that your buddies are probably just too polite to mention it to you, or just don't really know what it is, probably just think it's white noise from somebody's ceiling fan or something. But this thing is very quiet, and I definitely like that. The next thing I absolutely love about the R11 is how many USB ports it has. It has 14 USB ports, 7 of which are 3.0, 3 of which are right on the front, so if you want to plug in a controller or an external hard drive to quickly transfer some data, that is awesome. I had 12 on my last PC, and I thought that was a lot, but at one point I was reviewing a lot of products and whatnot, and I had a ton of stuff plugged in, and even just my daily stuff. I have an Elgato Stream Deck, I have an UPS or uninterruptible power supply that feeds live data about my electrical usage to my PC, I have a condenser microphone, my speakers are plugged in via USB to control the RGB, just a ton of USB devices, so the fact that I have ports to spare is absolutely awesome. Now next up, I know looks are completely subjective. What might be beautiful to some might be completely hideous to others, but I've got to say, I personally think the R11 is a very handsome looking computer. Cut my lights here. As you can see, it has this kind of jet turbine look. I'll probably also have some cool B-roll playing and whatnot, but I personally think it looks awesome. So the shape of it's kind of like a wedge. It comes in very narrow and then widens out around the back. That's not only for cosmetics to make it look good, but also that's where it houses the fan on top, and also the majority of the hardware is pushed in the ass end of it. But I gotta say, very handsome PC, and you can't buy this case if you're just trying to build your own PC. You have to get it exclusively in a pre-built form from Alienware, Dell's gaming division. So you don't see a whole lot of these cases because it's not in very many builds and whatnot, because you can't buy this case by itself. The next thing I really do like is how easy it is to get off the side panel in case you actually do want to mess with any of the components in there. Granted, a lot of people that get a pre-built probably don't, and that's the reason they get a pre-built. But for somebody like myself that likes to tinker and generally builds PCs, it's really nice just being able to hit 2 unlock latches on the back, swivel the PSU out of the way, and then have access to your RAM if you want to drop in a couple extra sticks, you want to swap out your GPU, want to check the water cooling to make sure everything's functioning on your CPU cooler, you can do that all pretty easily. Alrighty guys, the next thing I absolutely love about this PC is this software program right here, which is called Alien Command Center, or ACC. It is actually very good. So this is exclusively through Dell pre-built. I believe this is also on their laptop division, but certainly on their R10 and R11 desktops. And I gotta say, it does a whole heck of a lot. The user interface is very easy to navigate, and I was surprised by how much control they give you, considering it is a pre-built, and they actually allow you to manually overclock your CPU, GPU, and your RAM. So just a quick walkthrough. Obviously, graphically, it looks pretty awesome, but right here on the homepage, you have 2 different overclock profiles. You have off 1 and 2. 1 is a mild overclock, 2 is a little bit more aggressive, and this will overclock your CPU, GPU, and RAM just with a click of a button. So that is super awesome. You do also have different heat profiles here, where it'll start cutting on fans at different times, or with performance, it'll literally keep your fans pretty much on 100% of the time. So that is, if you're going to be doing some kind of benchmarking or video editing or crypto mining, that's a good option for you. They do also have audio profiles, which basically is a baked-in equalizer. I leave those off as I don't really like the artificial sound. I like it to sound a little bit more natural and true to what the actual sound source should sound like. Then you have a power save, a high performance, and a balanced mode for your 1000-watt power supply in the R11. So that's a really nice feature if you're trying to cut down on your electrical costs a little bit, but if you want to get peak performance out of your 3080, obviously you want to keep that at high performance. Now this is also a game launcher too, so kind of like NVIDIA GeForce Experience or Steam, where when you launch a game, it'll basically close background applications, kind of wipe your RAM to kind of clear it up for your game, can make adjustments to your GPU to give you automatic best visual settings as well. So that's super cool. You have your library right here. This is for if you have a ton of games, you can pick and choose what profiles you want set up for each game. Now over here in the effects setting, I absolutely love the RGB or LED lighting effects on the front of the case. You know, I mentioned the looks earlier, and part of that has to do with the lighting. So when you edit a theme here, you have separate control over the Alienware logo, which is actually the power button. Then you have this outside ring, which I currently have yellow. You have the inner, you know, jet turbine area. And then also on the side, the Alienware logo lights up as well, which I think is super cool. Granted, that part of my case is up against the wall, so I'll never really see that, but it does kind of cascade a little bit of subtle glow on the wall. You can individually adjust these 4 zones, or you can adjust all of them in conjunction, and it's also in real time. So when you adjust these, as you drag around this wheel here, you can literally fine-tune the exact color you want. And as I'm doing this, I'm watching on my case as it adjusts instantaneously in real time. So I think that is super cool. And you know, a lot of times people say like, oh, it has RGB, but it's really like 7 core colors that you can hit. This really is the 16.9 million spectrum of colors that you can hit here. So if you want to fine tune, it's really awesome. And you can also assign a theme to a specific game. So when you launch like Cyberpunk, your PC will go Cyberpunk colors. If you launch Call of Duty, it'll go like blood red or something. It's super cool, to be honest. I really do like it. And then over here in the Fusion settings, if you don't want to use the 2 overclock settings, you can actually manually overclock, kind of similarly to MSI Afterburner, except this isn't just GPU. You can overclock your CPU, GPU, and your RAM all from this one software program, and it lets you have full control, which is, I mean, for a pre-built company, I didn't expect to see that level of software control, and for them to kind of encourage or allow you to overclock, knowing dang well if you do it wrong, you're going to mess up your computer. They do also have a light theme. I don't know why in God's sweet green earth you would run that on anything. If there's a dark theme, just run it. And then also here, you can adjust the user interface too, to make it look as you please. I kind of like this little teal blue. This tealish blue here. And then you also have this audio equalizer for your input and also for your microphone. So, I mean, this is a really good software program. And, you know, you can't get this outside of an Alienware. It's not like you can just install this. It has to be, it's baked into the Alienware PCs. So, awesome. Absolutely awesome. This so far is probably one of my favorite features of this PC. Well, I think that's going to do it, guys. Those are the 5 things that I absolutely love thus far from the R11. I've only had it 2 days, but these are just things that I immediately was like, dang, that's freaking sweet. So if you enjoyed this video, is entertaining or informative for you, liking the video helps it to get seen by more people, encourages me to keep these videos going, and helps me to grow my channel. Subscribe for more content like this around the R11. I also do a ton of tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.